You're listening to the At Your Request Show with Nick Collings. This is Up FM 1075.
Welcome back. It is the At Your Request Show. Now, the man I am speaking to on the phone at the moment has been a firm fixture on the Auckland clubbing scene for the past few years. Originally hailing from Newcastle, New South Wales in Australia, his infectious blend of party house and electro and his own productions and bootlegs have been getting plays from everyone from Kissy Sell Out right through to the who's who of local DJs. His latest EP has recently come out, so I thought I'd best to catch up with the man who calls himself Dan Orks. Dan, are you there?
G'day, Nick. How are you, mate?
Yeah, man, I am not bad at all. First of all, absolute pleasure to have you here on Up FM. Where did the name Dan Orks come from?
Where did the name Dan Orks come from? Oh, wow. It's like, when I was really young, I used to play with my little stereo and I'd be looping things and recording things off my dad's little vocal recorder and putting that through, and I'd always be using the auxiliary kind of input, you know, back in like the early 90s, and I went, that's going to be an awesome name. I'm going to make music like the Prodigy one day, and I'm going to call myself Auxiliary, and that kind of stuck as a DJ name. But then as I kind of, you know, was DJing out more and more, people got to know me as Dan, so then they started calling me Dan Auxiliary, and then it was kind of accidentally put on a few posters around Sydney and stuff like that, and then I guess that kind of stuck, you know, so it's more not that pretentious kind of auxiliary name, but more of my character mixed with, you know, kind of the fun that I used to have sitting at home when I should have been studying, I guess. So yeah, Dan Orks, it's just stuck, so that's just how it works.
So it worked. Now, originally you are from New South Wales in Australia. Why did you make the move across the ditch to NZ?
Well, I was flown over here, and per chance I happened to fall in love with the place in more ways than one. And yeah, just New Zealand kept bringing me back, man. And the final trip was a 2-week trip, you know, obviously after I met my girlfriend Shan. We went back and forwards as well, and we did a 2-week George tour around the Coromandel, and I just fell in love with the place and said, that's it, man, I'm moving back here. This place is too good, you know, I'm missing out on a lot by not living here. So yeah, I guess, you know, a love of the country, and also, you know, on a personal level, meeting the right, you know, Kiwi girl. Sorry to all the Kiwi guys out there, but you know.
That's all right, mate.
There's plenty of other girls out there for you.
So when did you first officially become didn't really become a Kiwi, but you first moved here and set up shop as Dan Orks?
It was almost 3 years ago now.
And what have you found?
I think it was in like end of February, March. I don't even remember the year. Was it 2008? What year is it now? Yeah, so it must have been 2008.
Now, since living in NZ, what have you noticed as the main differences on the dance front between Aussie and New Zealand?
There's less cheese in New Zealand, and I love don't get me wrong, I love a good bit of cheese every now and then, but New Zealand likes to, you know, they like their dirty house music, and man, they have a lot of fun, and yeah, all the clubs are just so nice and like small and really loud, and you know, the scene's kind of more revolves around the music. Everyone knows the songs, whereas in Aussie, you know, you do get your little pockets of clubs like that, but you know, I guess it's on a larger scale. It's a lot more cheesier, and people are kind of more going out to be seen with their fake tans and you know, whatever like is the trend. I think it's boat shoes at the moment in Sydney.
So you find New Zealand a little bit more real as such? It's
not as materialistic, you know, yeah, very much more real, and just the kids just go nuts, hey, like, I love it.
Now, for those that haven't experienced that Orks magic, how do you describe the music you play?
Just good club music. Like, I'm just influenced by so many, you know, genres. Like, I'm very open to new music, and I you know, I always will be. I don't want to be like the old grandpa sitting going, oh, I remember when the music was like this or whatever. Like, you know, I started out playing probably, you know, I guess professionally DJing like breaks and hip hop, and it just evolved from there, you know, and I got into house music, and then all that stuff evolved, and obviously there's drum and bass thrown in, and then recently I guess it's dubstep, and there's so many different genres, man. But like, I guess with the DJ sets, it's just good club tunes, and just mash it all up and have fun, you know.
Most definitely. Now, I see on flyers and a lot of promotional stuff the name Way Crazies. Now, what's the difference? I haven't quite figured this one out yet, but what's the difference between Dan Orks and Way Crazies?
I haven't figured it out either, hey. Because I was producing as the Shoplifters when I moved here, obviously, but because the other half, John, had moved to Melbourne around the same time I moved here, we kind of became no more. So I think I wrote a few Shoplifter songs and did a couple of remixes on my own, and then kind of went, well, this is shit, so I need a new name. I didn't really want to... I was kind of holding out against Dan Orks, and I just came up with this Way Crazies idea. And then that's kind of been my production changed as well with that name. And I was originally going to change my name to Way Crazies, and then I thought, no, I've just got to represent who I am, hey. So, and that's one of the biggest pieces of advice I can ever give any young producers as well. You don't really need a crazy name, I'd say, but you know, just like rep who you are, and yeah, it's just it saves on the confusion. But maybe one day I'd like to just do a little Way Crazy side project or something, you know, down the path.
Now, the new EP is called, funny enough, the Way Crazies EP from Dan Orks. Now, it's out on Club Kid Records at the moment. Is that Kid Kenobi's record label?
Yeah, that's Jesse's label, and I've been, you know, obviously supporting him and mates with him for a good 10 years now. I used to, back when he was just a little kid, you know, I used to have him come and play at my gigs in Newcastle, and yeah, man, I've got to watch him grow from strength to strength. So, you know, it really does mean a lot now that he gets to, I guess, repay the support that I, you know, that I lent him and all those years ago. So yeah, we're just good mates, and yeah, it's an absolute pleasure working with Jesse. He's so professional and really, you know, really passionate about the music, about the club scene. I guess that's why it's called Club Kids, right? Yeah.
Definitely. Now, the EP, it's a 3-track EP. Each tune on it is slightly a little bit different. There's Can't Stop This, there's Club Kids, and there's also Oh Shivers. What's the difference between all three?
Well, I guess there was supposed to be even more on the EP. There was stuff that I couldn't clear as samples. It was quite disappointing. But yeah, I guess with those, like the Club Kids one is more of that bouncy kind of Dutch-influenced organ sound, and I've been, you know, writing a lot of our tunes with that kind of organ because I just love it. I can't get enough of it. And the Tech House one that I did with Northey was just a bit of fun when he came over here to play for Ben Pokinghorn at these series of drop parties, and you know, he's just from up the road where I hail from. So we've been mates for a long time, and would you believe the vocal in that we recorded on my laptop PC speakers in my studio about 20 minutes before we had to do the gig. We got Shannon in as well, so we're all chanting in the studio.
Awesome.
It was rather cheap and nasty, but it came out really well. And Oh Shivers, I guess that's been the big one for all the DJs. Like, I was just chatting to Greg and Angela of Oral Trash last night, and they were giving me shit saying that should have been the lead single, and next time I do an EP that they'll do the track list for me.
It's quite funny because
yeah.
Oh Shivers is also my personal favourite as well.
Yeah, of course. Like, I guess there's something for everything, which is what makes a good EP, you know. Like, and yeah, I'm so stoked that everyone's picked up on their favourites. It's awesome.
A little bit of something for everyone. Now, where can people at least probably find you on the net, listen to the Way Crazies EP, and ultimately hopefully go out and buy it?
Yes, that's a good point. They should go out and buy it so I can get my $20 APRA check at the end of the next payment period. I guess my blog's the best one. Hey, danaux.wordpress.com. That has links to everything, you know, my SoundCloud, and of course, you know, you can go to Beatport and just type in Dan Ox and you'll find a bunch of tunes.
And the whole lot is there. It's on Juno Download as well, and all the good digital download stores. Now, finally, Dan, it is a Christmas Day tomorrow. What gift are you hoping will be under the Christmas tree for you tomorrow?
That's an easy one. I'm hoping for a beard trimmer.
A beard trimmer?
Oh, I lost my beard trimmer. Well, I think it was in a hotel somewhere in Hamilton. I just remember waking up one day and going, shit, I need to trim my beard, and I could not find my trimmer anywhere, and then I was like, shit, I must have left it somewhere like in a hotel. So yeah, man, that's my one thing that I'm really hoping for this year, because otherwise it's just going to, I don't know what I'm going to do, man.
I thought it maybe was an extension from Movember or something, like Movember had just carried on and you were just like, no one had told you that the month had ended.
Yeah, it's getting pretty wild, eh? I keep getting mistaken for Zach Galifianakis. It's crazy.
Awesome. Now, Dan, Merry Christmas, buddy. Thank you.
Cheers, Nick.
Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today. And
no worries, man. Thanks for all the support too. Like, you guys have been awesome. I love you guys up there.
Hey, that's all good, Dan. And well, where are you playing New Year's?
Oh, New Year's Eve, 29th of this month. Yes, at Rhythm and Vines, 8 p.m. on the Cellar stage.
There you go.
I can't wait. Last year was that gig on the Cellar stage on New Year's Eve was my favourite of the whole year. And then we're zipping over to La-di-da at Martinborough for New Year's Eve.
Yep. Oh, look at that. Dan, a pleasure. Take it easy, and hopefully you get that beard trimmer that you want from Santa.
For sure, bro.
Take it easy, Dan.
FM. See ya.
See you, buddy. There you go. A little bit of Dan Orks there. His 3-track EP, the Way Crazies EP, is out right now on Kid Kenobi's Club Kids Records. Available to buy right now at all the good digital download stores, beatport.com, junodownload.com. Right now, we're going to play, well, as I mentioned, my favourite tune off the Dan Orks Way Crazies EP. This is Oh Shivers.
You're listening to the At Your Request Show with Nick Collins. This is Up FM 107.5.
There you go, off the Dan Orks EP, the Way Crazies EP, out right now. That one is Oh Shivers.